Welcome back. I'm going to be doing yet another board game playthrough, and this time it will be Star Trek Expeditions. This is basically a co-op game between 1 to 4 and with the expansion 1 to 5 players. The gist of the game is you have this planet Nibia, and you must go to this planet, find out what is going on. They were supposed to join the Federation, and now they're hesitant to do so. So it's an investigation co-op game with a timer built in. So you only have so much time to figure out the mystery and try and solve it as best you can, and you'll end up getting points depending on how well you solve the different mysteries. And you'll see that in action as we play the game. For this playthrough, I'm going to be using 3 characters, and of course they are going to be the 3 main characters from the old show. So we have Kirk here, and we're going to have, we're going to be playing with Bones, McCoy, and of course, you couldn't play a Star Trek game without having Mr. Spock as well. So I'll be using those 3 characters. Now, it's a Heroclix game by WizKids. So the Heroclix, if you're familiar with Heroclix, then you know that there's a base that has some statistics, and you rotate the dial as you take clicks. So we'll look at the statistics on Kirk here. There are 3 separate ones. There's a little gold Starfleet emblem, and that is the command portion, and then the blue is science, and the red here number relates to operations. So things like engineering, transportation, that kind of stuff. They start the game up here on the Enterprise. There's a little Starship Enterprise. Nice graphics there. There are also in the game 2 ships, and they're Heroclix ships. One is the Klingon battle cruiser, which really nicely done models. Nothing to complain about there. And the stats on these is you have shields, long range weaponry, and short range weaponry. So there of course will be some fighting going on. Basically the battleship's in orbit with the Enterprise threatening the Enterprise mission. And you have the Enterprise model here, again, really nicely done, nicely painted, just really nice components. And again, they have the same thing. They have the shields, long range and short range. And as the ships take damage, of course, they're Heroclix, so you'll be turning them down. So there'll be some dogfighting going on in the game. So the main thing, again, like I said, is to solve the mystery and try and do it before the timer runs out. There's a timer here on this side of the board, and there's a mechanic by card draws that will count the timer down. It's a number of days, and if you get to the final space, which is turn 30, a little Klingon symbol, you lose the game. If the Enterprise is destroyed, you also lose the game. And we'll take a look at a couple other components. I'll move the camera here in a second. And I'll just show you the other models. These are from the expansion. You've got Chekhov here, Heroclix, another nice model. You've got Sulu with his sword. You have Scotty, as those are the 3 expansion characters. And in the base game also comes Uhura. Action pose here with a phaser. If it's going to focus, maybe it will. There we go. Again, really nice Heroclix models, extremely well done. So I'm starting the game with Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. Of course, many an old episode always featured those 3. So I'll show you their character cards quickly. So Captain James T. Kirk, and this was off the reboot of the new movie. This game, I believe, was 2011. So he has a couple of specific abilities, diplomacy and combat, having to do with command. And his special one action is transfer 1 crew between you and any other player. And this will all become apparent as we play the game. He starts with 2 energize cards, and there's a limited number of these in the game. Once they run out, they're done. His first one is command authority, and it says play to gain 3 additional actions for this character, and Starfleet training basically gives him a re-roll of the dice. Now, playing cards does not cost actions in the game, so that's always good to know. And next we go to Mr. Spock. He's the science first officer, of course. He has the analysis ability and engineering. So blue is science and engineering operations. And his special abilities, he gets to look at one of the face-down cards on any one location and then return the card face down. So basically he gets to scan a location, and there are many locations, 15 on the board. He gets to look at one to see what's there. And his 2 starting energized cards are repair, so if the Enterprise gets injured, you get to repair it 1 clicks. And he has a crew member with him right now. It's the transportation officer. He has a special word, transportation, and he gives a +1 if we're doing any operations checks. And you'll see how the checks work again as we play the game. And the third and final character I'll be using for this playthrough is Dr. Leonard Mccoy. He's the Chief Medical Officer, of course, if you know the show at all. And he has a medical. Each of these special listed abilities, I should mention, gives you a +2 on checks. So if it's a medical check that McCoy is trying to deal with, he's going to actually have +4 because he has medical twice. And his special ability is for 1 action, he can heal a character in your location, including himself, a number of clicks equal to 1 white dice. And the 2 cards that he starts with is Computer Uplink, which is going to give him a +3 to any science challenge if he plays the card. And he also has a crew member with him. He has a communications officer, special ability communications, and a +1 on operations checks. Now, speaking of the dice in the game, let's have a look at them. There are 3 dice that come with the game. They're quite small, but they're actually really nice. First one we'll look at is the Klingon Dice. And this is used when the Klingon vessel fires at the Enterprise in orbit. There's a special symbol here instead of a 1, and it's a repair symbol. So the Klingon ship will repair if we roll this. And then the other numbers go from 2 to 6. So the Klingon ship packs quite a wallop when it's firing. I guess it's their top-of-the-line battle cruiser. And the Federation dice, kind of interesting. It goes from 1 to a 7. And you notice on the 7 here, there's a -1. So you get that extra boost, but you're going to take 1 click of damage. And that has to do with either doing a check or when the Starship Enterprise fires back at the battlecruiser or attacks the battlecruiser. Okay, and lastly, there are a bunch of tokens on the board. There's special items like Rebel items, Temple Priestess, there's a Klingon energy pad. These can be collected by the crew members as they go down to the planet. Lots to cover in rules here, but you'll see all this in action. This is how you complete challenges. There's a whole bunch of things you can add to the numbers. Basically, a challenge is a number you have to meet or exceed. The farther you exceed on a challenge, generally the better results you will get. And this tells you how to do starship battles. We'll get into that. And a turn order is basically flipping over a stardate card. There are 14 in the game. When you run out of them, you just shuffle them and reuse them. You advance a time marker if it says so on the card. You conduct starship combat if it says on the card. You resolve events if there are events written on the card. Then you go to the actions phase for the current player character. Take the actions as shown on a stardate card. The stardate card will dictate how many actions you're going to have. And these are all the actions you can take, and we'll get into this as we play the game instead of going over everything right now. So I'm just going to adjust the camera a little bit. We'll look at the last track of the board, and then next time we'll get into the first turn. Okay, so this track represents there are 3 main streams of possibilities that mysteries you have to solve in the game. One of them is the ecology / terraforming track. It's called the energy track on the cards. It is the green one, and you're trying, of course, to get the highest number possible as you complete missions. The other one, there's rebels. There's some kind of civil war possibility happening on the planet. You have to solve that as another one of the main mission streams in the game, and again, you want the highest possible by the end of the game. And then you have politics, so you're dealing with the planet's leaders. You're trying to get them to join the Federation. The Klingons obviously are involved here and causing issues. So these are the energized cards. It's a pretty hefty looking deck. However, when they run out, they run out. One of the actions characters can take is to draw an energized card. They will be crew members, and they will also be special abilities. And up here there are 5 unique tokens in the game, and they can be got through special abilities, as we'll see as we play the game. Okay, I think that pretty much covers everything. And I can say one thing about setting up the deck for replayability. There are 16 of these particular oversized cards. They're all different missions and situations you run into. You only use 6 of them, so 10 of them go back to the box. And there are 3 cards representing the mainstream. So there's 3 for energy, 3 for rebels, 3 for politics. And you have to complete all 3 of them. And I'll just show you quickly here. There are these great big cardboard, big thick cards that have to do. So Rebels, the first one you're going to complete is Rebels 1. And then it branches. You can either do 2A or 2B, depending on how well you do on the first one, and then it branches even more, 3A, 3B, 3C, 3D. So you'll have to complete 3 of those to actually complete the game. All right, that's the setup, the intro. Again, I'll be using Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, and we will try and solve the mystery of Nibia. And when we return next time, we'll get into turn 1. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll see how well the next turn will be. Captain Kirk goes first, of course, he's the captain. So turn 1 will be having Kirk do his turn. All right, thanks for watching. Join me next time for Captain Kirk turn 1.